y'all take vacations together on the yacht or something?
Well, we get on the boat with Magic and Cookie. Steve and Marjorie have their own boat.
He always was wide open for that, and he never lost being that kid from Chicago that wanted to make everybody laugh.
Before we went out on stage on the King tour, Bernie used to pat us all. Bernie was an athletic dude, so he used to pat us on the rear end like basketball players.
It appears that Samuel L. Jackson has become one of the vocal critics of Steve Harvey. While he usually maintains respect when discussing his fellow colleagues, this time Jackson didn't mince words and openly shared his unfiltered thoughts about Harvey. Interestingly, Samuel L. Jackson actively avoids spending time with Steve, and the reason behind his disdain for the self-proclaimed king of comedy is quite compelling. So, what's the tea behind all this hate Steve is getting from Samuel Jackson? Let's find out in today's video. But of course, before I say anything else, make sure first that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for more updates and videos like this. Now let's dive in. Despite his long tenure in the entertainment industry, Samuel L. Jackson recently revealed that he has never encountered a more deceitful and malicious individual than Steve Harvey. Interestingly, despite the assumption that these two entertainment giants are close friends, the star of Django Unchained actually holds a deep-seated resentment towards the host of Family Feud. Steve Harvey has undeniably become a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, showcasing his talents in a wide range of endeavors. From comedy to motivational speeches and relationship books, he has garnered immense fame and affection from millions. However, it's worth noting that not everyone finds him equally charming or funny, and one of his notable critics is Samuel L. Jackson. In Jackson's eyes, Steve Harvey is not the comedic genius he's often hailed as. Instead, he views him as a figure to be questioned. To Jackson, Harvey appears to be a walking red flag, not because of his outstanding comedy skills, but rather due to his path to fame. According to Jackson, Harvey's success isn't the result of superhuman comedic talent, but rather the power of persuasion. Samuel L. Jackson doesn't hold back in expressing his perspective, stating that he's never encountered a less funny individual in the industry. But he can't help but draw comparisons between Harvey and another renowned comedian and personal friend, Bernie Mac, emphasizing the stark contrast between their comedic abilities.
I met Bernie years and years ago when I used to have a golf tournament down in Bermuda, and Bernie was the highlight of my...
Even though Bernie Mac tragically passed away 15 years ago, Samuel L. Jackson still firmly believes that Mac is the rightful king of comedy. In Jackson's eyes, Steve Harvey doesn't hold a candle to Bernie's unparalleled talents and comedic skills. To Jackson, Harvey might have convinced many people of his immense talent, but he remains unconvinced, viewing him as an inferior shadow in comparison to Mac. What's more, Jackson doesn't reserve his criticism solely for Harvey's professional endeavors. He also holds unfavorable opinions about Harvey on a personal level, believing him to be an unpleasant individual. Jackson's skepticism about Harvey has always existed, but it intensified after he got to know the famous TV icon more closely. Interestingly, Samuel L. Jackson has a tradition of enjoying luxurious vacations with his family and friends on yachts in sunny European destinations. A few years ago, when Steve Harvey joined in on the fun, it seems like things took a downturn. According to Jackson, the vacation that had initially started with enchantment and relaxation took a hit when Steve Harvey and his wife Marjorie came aboard. When Samuel L. Jackson sat down with Tiffany Hudson to discuss this lavish vacation experience among the affluent, he made it clear that he didn't spend much time with Steve Harvey during the trip, hinting at a less than pleasant interaction.
Ernie, felt like he didn't want to do it anymore. He was on his own path, and Steve, so...
It seems like during that European vacation, Steve Harvey and his family weren't exactly part of the core group of friends and celebrities who were enjoying the trip together. Instead, it appeared as though they merely crossed paths with fellow celebrities in Europe. Samuel L. Jackson's preference to keep his distance from Steve Harvey suggests that he wasn't pleased with the encounter and doesn't feel a genuine friendship with him. The underlying reason for Jackson's strong contempt towards Harvey has its roots in a historical conflict involving Bernie Mac, a close friend of Samuel L. Jackson. Apparently, there was a significant feud between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey. According to Jackson's current perspective, Harvey's career ambitions seemed to take precedence over everything else.
Feel that the beef between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey was because Steve Harvey was getting a lot of network love during the time and Bernie Mac not so much?
Yeah, and then Bernie started to...
Harvey and Mac were both part of a comedy tour and the 2000 documentary, The Original Kings of Comedy, which followed comedians Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, and D.L. Hewley, as they traveled from state to state entertaining audiences. However, it seems that Steve Harvey had ulterior motives during this time. While they all made a substantial amount of money and had fun on tour, tension and animosity developed between Harvey and Mac, ultimately causing the group to fall apart. Many fans believe that without the presence of the other comedians, Steve Harvey alone wouldn't have been enough to ensure the show's success. People tuned in not because of Harvey's exceptional talents, but for the ensemble of comedians.
I hear y'all take vacations together on the yacht or something.
Well, we get on the boat with Magic and Cookie. Steve and Marjorie have their own boat.
Indeed, the comedy tour made history and propelled all four comedians to new heights in their careers. However, persistent rumors swirled about the relationship between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey, hinting at an underlying tension. These rumors often revolved around Harvey's alleged attempts to hog the spotlight and his jealousy of Bernie's comedic talent. It appeared that Steve Harvey's unpleasant demeanor and unprofessional behavior contributed to the breakdown of the camaraderie among the comedians. Over the years, these rumors persisted, and it was suggested that Harvey's negative attitude was one of the reasons why subsequent tour plans and the idea of making a second movie didn't materialize. It seemed as though Steve Harvey had chosen to follow his own path, separate from the group. Cedric the Entertainer, another participant in the project, shed some light on the situation, explaining that both comedians, Harvey and Mac, were strong leaders and independent individuals, which ultimately led to their inability to work together harmoniously. This insight suggests that the clash wasn't just about jealousy or spotlight stealing, but rather a clash of two distinct personalities within the group.
Bernie said in the GQ article that when he got Ocean's 11, Steve had reached out to the producers and said he thought he would be a better fit and tried to get the part.
The true reason behind the hostility between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey came to light in 2003, when comedian Mick, likely a reference to the comedian and actor Mike Epps, made startling accusations in an interview with GQ magazine. According to Mick, Harvey had been actively trying to undermine Bernie's career and had even gone behind his back in an attempt to steal movie roles, especially those that Steve was involved in. Bernie's response to this was a resolute no, refusing to let Harvey take away his opportunities. D.L. Hewley, another member of the original Kings of Comedy, corroborated these rumors about the feud. He confirmed that Steve Harvey was indeed the reason behind the deteriorating dynamics among the four comedians. One specific incident that highlighted Harvey's actions was his attempt to take on the role of Frank Catton in the film Ocean's 11, a move that was seen as a blatant attempt to usurp his colleagues' opportunities. When confronted with such a low move, Steve Harvey seemingly made no effort to address the accusations. This episode shed light on Steve Harvey's true character for many people in the industry, including D.L. Hewley, who began to see him in a different, less favorable light. It seems that Steve Harvey's pursuit to maximize his own career and opportunities extend even to Bernie Mac's unfortunate passing. Despite the past issues and conflicts between them, Steve Harvey portrayed himself as a kind-hearted individual, claiming to have made peace with their past differences after Bernie's demise. This gesture suggests that Harvey may have sought to capitalize on the situation for personal image or gain, even in the face of a tragic loss. Indeed, it's often easier to make peace with someone who's no longer here and then attempt to claim their legacy. Bernie Mac's passing on August 9, 2008, due to sarcoidosis, was a great loss to the comedy world. Steve Harvey's efforts to portray himself as deeply affected by this loss might have appeared insincere to some. As Samuel L. Jackson aptly points out, Bernie Mac will forever be remembered as a true king of comedy, regardless of Steve Harvey's attempts to position himself as the sole king. Bernie's legacy lives on through initiatives like the Bernie Mac Foundation, established in 2007, and the Bernie Mac Star Center at the University of Illinois Hospital Health Sciences System, created in 2012. These efforts aim to raise awareness about sarcoidosis and honor Bernie's memory. It's evident that Steve Harvey's desire to insert himself into everything related to Bernie Mac, despite his passing over 15 years ago, has raised suspicions of envy and insincerity among many people. Using Bernie's title of King of Comedy for his own benefit could be seen as an attempt to overshadow the enduring love and respect the public holds for the late comedian, which some view as the actions of a man who appears more like a sad clown than anything else. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.